Hi, my name is Caleb. I'm a boudoir photographer based in Bend, Oregon. Recently I asked my followers on TikTok if they had any questions or things that they had always wondered about boudoir, so I kind of took some of those most frequently asked ones and we're going to answer them here in this video today. But this conversation doesn't have to end here, so if you have any questions of your own, be sure to ask them in the comments below. But let's get right into it. Okay, here's the first question that I got a lot of. What is the point of boudoir? And I get it. Why would you spend all this time and effort and money on something that's kind of seemingly frivolous, right? But here's what I want to do. I want to kind of frame what boudoir actually is first. So boudoir is a genre of photography that's all about body positivity, empowerment, self-love, and the reclamation of your agency, your identity, and your sensuality. And in our culture, that's kind of a revolutionary act. Body image is commodified in our culture. And what boudoir seeks to do is to kind of reframe the way that you think about yourself and the way that you talk to yourself about yourself. It's reclaiming and decommodifying your body image. It's taking back what our culture tries to take from us. Question number 2. How do you earn the trust of your clients? I get this one a lot because elephant in the room, I'm a cis white dude. How could I claim to understand the struggles and issues that my clients have, especially when our entire system was built by and for people like me? Recognizing that by the virtue of my identity, I have all of these systemic privileges and advantages, my main objective is to cede all of that institutional privilege and power to my clients, because I don't need it. My goal above all is to empower people who don't look like me, whose identities are not like me, because the world has had enough shitty cishet white dudes. So again, with that all in mind, how do I earn the trust of my clients? First and foremost, I'm the dorkiest dork who's ever lived. My shoots are super fun, super laid back. I model all the poses for you, which is just inherently hilarious. And we just ensure that everybody is having a good time, that everybody is feeling safe, that everybody's feeling valid, that everybody's feeling seen. I always try to make sure that by the time that you show up to your shoot, that we've talked at least twice on the phone. One on just a regular phone call, and then one on a Zoom or a FaceTime call. That way it's kind of like we already know each other, that we're already old friends coming in. And typically speaking, the first like 45 minutes or an hour of a shoot time are hair and makeup, which is just a time where we can just kind of hang out, relax. You can start feeling all pampered and glamorous. And so by the time we start to shoot, you're already relaxed and you're already having a good time. Question 3. What do I bring? Basically, all you need to bring is yourself, all of your outfits that you're going to shoot in. A water bottle's always nice. And be sure to wear nice, kind of loose-fitting, comfy clothes that aren't going to leave any lines on you and that you're going to feel good, you know, showing up and leaving in all comfy and stuff.
Well, as the makeup artist, I usually ask that you bring your own cover-up or concealer. Your skin absorbs 80% of what you put on it. It's a very intimate process. You want to make sure you're okay with what I'm putting on it. You want to make sure it matches your skin tone perfectly. Bring just hair ties, bobby pins. Pasties are good for if you're doing like lingerie, but you don't want necessarily to have stuff showing.
Basically, that's it. You don't have to bring a ton of stuff. Question 4. What are the best outfits to wear? We typically have time for 3 to 4 outfits during a shoot. Depending on your comfort level, there are several pieces that I suggest to everybody. Number 1 is a bodysuit. Everybody looks good in a bodysuit. I look good in a bodysuit. They are universally flattering. Number 2, I would call a statement piece. So depending on the theme of your shoot, depending on what kind of vibe you're going for, really lean into it and go with something that would define that shoot idea in your mind. Number 3 is just a nice bra and panty set. Something that makes you feel good, something that makes you feel elegant, something that makes you feel gorgeous. And then always number 4, I am a huge proponent of the white sheet, where you basically just bring like a white sheet or some sort of drapery. It's really simple, but still really elegant.
Having like a good sweater or cardigan or something is usually pretty easy to pose with or play with and is comfortable. Your favorite bra or something you're comfortable in that you feel like you look good in. Bodysuits usually look good on everyone. And then there's always the fun, just a white sheet. You don't really have to get too creative with the outfits. You can still make art with pretty simple pieces.
It doesn't have to be super complicated. We can go complicated. I am really good at figuring out weird, bizarre lingerie pieces. So you never have to worry about having it all figured out beforehand because we can figure it out together. But there's also something great about just the beauty of simplicity. Because regardless of what you're wearing, we're gonna make you look really good. Question number 5. Are snacks provided? They definitely can be. Let me know what your favorite snack is and I'll see if I can grab some on the way. But for real though, eat. If you haven't eaten before your shoot, we're all gonna know. And how can you really be having a good, fun time if you're just starving the whole time, right? This is a 100% food-friendly sort of environment. Question number 6. Are boudoir photographers perverts? Some are. It's a really sad thing to have to admit, but yeah, there's a lot of what we call GWCs out there. Guys with cameras. And it is always a good thing to vet whoever you're going to work with. The worst possible outcome that I could ever imagine is you trusting someone enough to do a shoot with you like this, and then they take advantage of you, and then they make you feel unsafe, and they make you feel exploited. Because that's not what this is about. This is about creating a solidarity, a universal solidarity between you and a crew of other people who are all working towards the main goal of A, creating beautiful art, and B, helping you remember and rediscover your beauty. There are lots of red flags out there.
Always ask if you could bring someone with you. If they say no, stop talking to them. I personally would even block them. Like, if they're not okay with you, there's no reason they shouldn't be comfortable with you bringing someone.
There are lots of photographers who prefer you to not to bring anybody, especially like your partner or your spouse or something, because there can be weird things, and I understand that. But what I'm talking about is mostly like male photographers who react really negatively to you saying that you want to bring someone.
Stalk them like you're trying to stalk your boyfriend. Like,
no, seriously, like that's really good advice, because
that's legitimately what I would do when I first started getting into it. Like, when you messaged me asking me, I went through your page and I was like, are these legitimate girls who care about their safety? And I want to say there was someone on your page I knew, and I was like, that's a reliable source. Even message them, ask them, like, what was your experience with this person like? That can tell you a lot, because sometimes people will still post pictures from models who don't want them to. Like, they'll still try to promote their work even though they're blacklisted or whatever. So you can find a lot of information by messaging the girls in it. I think another red flag would be too if they're not tagging their models.
Well, now, why would that be a red flag, you ask? Well, a lot of times, if they have been found guilty of poor behavior in the past, they might be coming back and using old images of old shoots to try and kind of relaunch their career. And they might not want those clients to know that they are back in the game, but they still want to be able to use those images so they don't tag their clients in it. That can be a red flag. Doesn't necessarily have to be a red flag, but it's just something to be aware of to investigate a little deeper. And that's kind of the point of all of these, not to say, okay, this is a definite no, this is a definite don't talk to them again, but just inquire deeper as to their reasons and look at them a little more critically. Okay, this last one might be a little controversial, and I'm not sorry, but if your photographer starts complaining about cancel culture or starts talking about SJW'S unironically or something like that, that's a pretty big red flag, because I think it's really, really hard to be both a reactionary and an empathetic creative, because this line of work requires radical empathy, vulnerability, and openness. And when you get so worked up over cancel culture or SJWs or blue-haired feminists, that means that you don't really have those. Question number 7. How far do you travel? I will travel wherever my clients want to fly me. Now, that being said, I feel like I'm getting real old here. So I would much rather you take the vacation and you do the traveling and come here to Bend. Bend is great. We got 300 plus days of sunshine a year. I used to be in tourism marketing. I know all the spiels, but I'm more than happy to travel to you. So let's talk, let's figure it out. And travel fees don't have to be terribly expensive, especially if you get a couple of friends who really want to do a shoot as well. I'll just split up all those travel costs between all of you. Question number 8. What is the difference between boudoir and porn? Now again, I want to qualify this answer by saying that sex work is real work. Sex workers deserve all of the same dignity and human rights as any other person. And we all ought to realize that sex work is real work and that sex workers perform an essential function in our society. So what is the difference between sex work, pornography, and boudoir? Porn is made more for consumption, where boudoir is made more for expression. There are lots of aesthetic differences, of course. There's more focus on parts with porn and more focus on the whole in boudoir. The intended audience is quite different. For porn, it's meant more for, again, mass consumption, where for boudoir, it's mostly meant for the client or their partner or people who they choose to see it. And something that I definitely want to express is that there is no moral judgment on either of these. Because again, sex work is real work. Sex work is valid. Sex work serves a role in our society. And to deny that is to deny the fundamental human rights of those people who engage in it. And if you're a swerf, get the hell out. Okay, this is the last question, question number 9. What happens if I'm on my period during the shoot? Now again, to qualify, because I qualify all my answers, periods are a normal, regular part of human life. And there's nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to feel weird about, nothing to feel bad about. And we can of course do your shoot while you're on your period. Literally no worries. In fact, I had a shoot once where every time we had like a booty shot, I just edit out the little tampon string. It's no big deal. But if you aren't feeling your best or not able to kind of really get into it, or you're worrying too much about it, tell us. We can change things, we can amend things, because again, this is all about you, and I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. So that's that. Those are some of the questions that I get asked a lot as a boudoir photographer. If you have any other questions that I haven't answered, be sure to ask them in the comments below. And while you're down there, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. And be sure to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Patreon. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk soon.